Welcome to the Spiritual and Empowerment Living with Tia podcast, a sacred place and resource for spiritually centered women who want to go from the mundane to the magical life, for overcoming fear and doubt, reconnecting with the goddess, understanding messages from spirit, and uncovering your spiritual gifts so you can finally live the life you deserve. Hello, Spiritual Trailblazer. Welcome to another episode of Scope. Sagittarius new moon and the solar eclipse. I mean, didn't we just have a lunar eclipse? Now we did a solar eclipse. And I meant to do a little bit of research beforehand, but I can't remember a time where there was a lunar and solar eclipse so close. I could be wrong, but the energy, I mean, holy crap. All right, so for those of you who are new to the Tiascope episode, I'm not giving a horoscope or nothing like that. This is just me sharing some of the information I learned about the moon phase and how it impacts us. Because I realized many years ago how impactful the moon cycles are, whether we realize it or not. Impactful to us, what we do, and sometimes we think we're a little crazy, and sometimes we are. But there are some external forces like the moon that really throw a wrench into our mood and things. And sometimes it's good things, sometimes it's bad things, and I'll get to that in a little bit. So stay tuned to the end. I will pull a card for this new moon and the solar eclipse. I do that sometimes to get a little bit more insight. And with this one, oh my gosh, talk about the load of energies and information out there. So definitely check out the episode where I talked about the lunar eclipse, the penumbral eclipse, because that was important too. And based on my research, that ties into this, but also what moon phase doesn't tie into another phase. And in that episode, which is, again, just a few episodes previous, so you can just, scroll up and look at it. I also talked about the Sagittarius Zodiac. Just a little bit, because I'm not, and I don't study that as part of my background. That is a lifelong understanding zodiacs and planetary correspondences and things like that. That is a lifelong practice, dedication, like anything else. But that is something that I know I do not have in me on top of everything else. It is very detailed when you start learning about the houses and everything. So definitely learn as much as you can about that, but also check out the previous episode where I talked a little bit about the Sagittarius sign, and it give you a better insight of what we're talking about. But just as like a quickie, Sagittarius, fire sign, direct. They tend to be very direct people and want things the way they want, but that's just a little side note. So in a nutshell, with these Tiascopes, I do some research about basically what the hell is going on with these zodiacs, the moon, and the corresponding planet sometimes, or star, because the sun is a star. It's not a planet. And what it means, how it impacts us, and some of the things we should be doing about it. For example, with the lunar eclipse, some people wanted to do spell work, which you got to be a little bit more careful because it's a lot of energy, and sometimes a little bit chaotic. But it's like, hey, do what you want. You just got to understand what you're dealing with. Okay. I also like to understand the day that these moon phases fall on. In this case, the eclipse fall on, because that's important too. Like I said, it's energy on top of energy on top of energy. And I have a blog series that just wrapped up about magical days of the week. So Sunday Monday to all the days of the week. I give the magical correspondence, the planetary correspondence, herb correspondence. I think the crystal correspondence is in there. So I give the background, help you understand the energies of the days of the week. And it really provides a great insight because, especially with days like Sunday and Monday, it gets a bad rap. So we can understand the true energies of that day and the correspondences, even the colors, then we get a better grasp of why we feel the way we do on certain days and things we can do on those days. So for a little bit more in-depth information, just go to blog.tiamariejohnson.com and you can get a better understanding of the days of the week. Now, with this, like with any moon, phase, but we're also talking about the solar eclipse. Like I said already, there is a lot of energy, but know that everyone taps into it differently. So some people pick up on different things, which is why people react differently to each phase, even though there is an overarching theme to each phase, okay? For example, and I'm still feeling this way, the lunar eclipse, I was initially okay. I was okay. I think it rained a day or two before the lunar eclipse. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not collecting that rain. Right? I was good. I was okay. But then a couple of days afterwards, I felt wacky, even more restless. I felt frustrated and I had to be in my own space. Like I literally just spent some time by myself. I was just like, oh my God. And then I watched a lot of dog videos. I felt better. But it's just one of those things where, and some of the people who I talked to, there's like, yeah, I had to not be on social media for a while. I really needed some time. And some people, they're like kind of okay. And other people are just like, oh my God, I'm going to need some time. And that's how it was for me. And that's just an example of how these phases really impact us. Like I was just really irritated. And I didn't have a reason to be irritated. I mean, yes, I talked a little bit about this on my IG stories. Yes, I understand pretty much all holiday events are canceled. There are some things we can do. It's obviously not the same, but other things are just not happening. And it really made me sad. I'm like, man, there are a lot of things that I really look forward to the month of December. And listen, I am not a person who loves the cold weather, but I love the holiday season. I love the lights. I love the songs. I love it. And I love spending time with people. I love getting drinks and, dressing up. It's such a fun occasion. It's a magical occasion. And that just isn't happening this year. So yeah, I was sad. But the full moon lunar eclipse did not help. Okay. For example, when I had my foot surgery a couple of years ago, I think it's my second foot surgery. I got my foot surgery on November 4th. And I just okay, so before that, I had a foot surgery during the summertime. And I said to myself, oh my God, I'm never doing this again. It was so bad. I couldn't do any summer activities. My summer was shot. So I'm like, all right, fine. I'm going to get it done during the fall. And I thought, and also it was sort of like an emergency surgery. It was like, you need to get this surgery done ASAP on your foot. So I'm like, oh man, all right, fine. November 4th. Man, I couldn't go to anything. I mean, nothing. It was so sad and depressing, but I have some of the most amazing friends on the planet and they visited me. They sent me stuff. So it made it better because people could visit you. So I kind of been around this block before where I couldn't do some of the winter activities, but at least I had people come over. That ain't happening. No one, and it's sad because I am a social person and I love festivities, whether it's a music festival, whatever. I love festivities and that made me sad. But the heightened energy of the full moon lunar eclipse did not help. And it made me irritable, and it made me realize that even more. And it was just like, ugh. So that really impacted me. And I'm better now, but I'm still a little bit like, eh. Okay. And other people who I talked to were just like, oh my God, I just like that full moon. So this is why I encourage you to do even more independent research. What I'm presenting to you is someone who spent a couple of hours, doing some research. I got 2 links for you to click on. I'm going to put in the description of this episode. But again, people who deal with astrology, deal with all this, they get a little deeper into this. And I want you to really understand this because, like I said, we get impacted differently. And, as a result, we get different experiences. So what I'm going to explain to you are some of the overarching themes. Like there are, of course, like the main overarching theme, like, with the solar energy, the transitionings, walking mean the new because it's a new moon, and compound that with the solar energy of the sun. But there are a lot of nuances that are happening, and associations, zodiac associations that are with there, and planetary associations. So let's dive into this. But again, always do more research. Okay, it may be a little bit extra homework for you, but it's worth it to understand what's going on and how it impacts you. Okay. So let me scroll up on my notes here. All right. So like I said, I have 2 links for you to click for you to do more reading. But let's start with the day and planet. I like starting with this because, like I said, the energies are many, and I believe this is a good place to start. So it's on a Monday. All right, let's just start there. So Monday is named after the moon. So we have moon energy, which is our intuition, our feminine energy, feminine mystery. Okay. And of course, it's a moon. So it's almost a double moon energy, but this is the new moon. So this is the time where the energy is going to grow towards something, right? Because it's the beginning. So it's really just a singular moon energy, and some of that moon energy, that new moon energy. Now, why is this important? Because, for example, if this was on a Tuesday, you got that Mars energy of aggression, passion, bravery, etc. But I also read that there is a lot of Mercury energy associated with today, and a communication is a big thing. So there's that, which is why, again, do more research, but this is your starting point. And then we have the solar energy. And solar energy, is enlightened energy, is transformative energy. So and it's also male energy, and male energy is the energy that gives. All right. So we have the woman energy, female energy that receives. We have our intuition. We have that dark moon, a time, of course, to reflect. And then as we work on that, we have that solar male energy. So what we receive, the messages we receive, whatever we're doing during this time, we can give off some of that energy. We can start to put some things into practice, giving that energy, and understand where we can be transformative, where we need illumination. But this is an eclipse. And I read that this is a full eclipse, whereas in June it was a partial eclipse. So we're not going to see the sun. And also, depending on where you're at in the world, you're not even going to see this eclipse. I'm trying to remember where I saw. I think Brazil, people in Brazil will see the eclipse. So keep that in mind. You may want to take some time to think about where in your life are you not being transformative? Where in your life you need to have better communication? Where in your life is not being illuminated, is being overshadowed? Okay, so then there's the Sagittarius energy. It's Sagittarius season and the new moon in Sagittarius. And like I said, okay, before I talked about the Sagittarius zodiac sign. You can always do more research, understanding the zodiac sign, but it's a fire sign, solar energy. Okay. And there's a fire sign. So we have like a lot of double energies going on here. All right. And fire, we know, is transformative, it illuminates. Okay. Now, let's look at what exactly is a solar eclipse. All right. So this is from skyandtelescope.org. A total solar eclipse occurs when the moon covers the face of the sun as seen from the earth. Okay, so it allows us to see day as if it were night. Oh, wow. So think about that. Okay, and you can see it from, so the solar eclipse path will cross through Chile and Argentina. I feel like I saw Brazil somewhere too. Let's see. Okay, switching over. astrologykeen.com. Solar eclipse meaning. A solar eclipse is just like a regular new moon. Like I know I said the whole thing, but I want to go a little bit deeper here. All right. So the moon darkens the sun. The solar eclipse in June, okay, was an annular solar eclipse. So not all the sun was darkened. That's what I'm saying. Like that was partial. This was a full. So the strongest and most important aspect of astrology is sun conjunction moon. So this means that all possibilities are on the table and you can rightly put yourself at the forefront of new plans for the future. This is an ideal time to make a fresh start. So write down your new goals on paper, question your old habits and behaviors as you search for new and inventive ways to make progress. So that's what I was saying earlier. What are you blocking? Okay. And what emotions are blocking that? Okay. So when we're looking at roadblocks, okay, you getting to that end result, the path that you're on, this is an emotional thing. The moon deals with our intuition and our emotions and is in the midst of the sun completely. Right. So there's not that illumination, that warmth, that transformation, that solar energy, that Mel giving off energy. What's going on there? Let's look at that, because if we can understand our emotional energy as it ties into, what we want to do, we get a better idea about what we need to address in our lives. Now, as a side note, this website shows you the chart, okay, of the new moon. The astrology chart. So this is what I really like, because I'm a visual learner and it helps and it gives you more information. So in understanding this solar eclipse, as I was saying, it states here the solar eclipse conjuncts Mercury. So this puts the focus on your thinking and communication and short distance travel. It brings mental alertness, quick thinking, adaptability, and curiosity. So this is a time where you really want to focus on communication, your goals, the emotion behind it, how you're interacting, like, are you negotiating things? Like what's your communication style? Are you even communicating? Okay. This is the time to think about that. I want to take a pause right here, because with this solar eclipse, we're ending the year with this, right? And just as a side note, I also saw about us entering a new age on the 21st. And I'm still trying to understand all of that. I thought we were already in the age of Aquarius. I don't fully understand it, so I want you to do more research on that. I don't want to tell you something wrong that that I'm conscious of, right? Like I can make a mistake. But I'm still trying to understand this transition. So I am aware that some major new age transition is supposed to go down on 21st. Okay. Now, with this solar eclipse, with that lunar eclipse, I just feel like this is us leaning towards something big, something different, a way to really address the last bit of things we need to address for this year. Because next year, the changes are going down. Like, it's just like, no, and it's funny, as I'm saying this, my TV is showing that it's 3:33 a.m. The threes have to do with ascendant masters, and ascendant masters working with you. So there's a lot of power behind this. Okay. And this is a time where we can really look at the last bit of residual energy. This is the time that we're going to look at whatever we need to wrap up. And a lot of that really goes back with communication, right? So much this year, we have seen people speak up. We have seen people voice their opinion, voice their feelings, ask for help, stand for what's right. Everything that falls under communication, saying, no, we're not going to take this anymore. Yes, we want change. And the change has begun, and it's going to solidify in 2021. So here we are now with this eclipse in the middle of December, just about roughly 2 weeks left of this year. And the emphasis is communication. Major themes here. Okay. So it states here, the solar eclipse and Mercury trine Mars creates positive, well-balanced energy. It gives the desire and initiative to make plans, set new goals, and act on them with courage and confidence. Okay. So it's saying here that now is the time where, and actually they're saying that Mars is a huge factor in this. And it's funny because I was just saying how, let's look at the day it falls on. And here it's saying that, it's close enough with Mars that energy is also at play. And we were just, as I was just saying, Mars has the energy of passion and strength and bravery and even aggression, which can be a good thing because we need to be aggressive. This is the time. Speak up, be aggressive, say what's not working for you, say what you need help with, call people out. Okay, so this means quick thinking and clarity to overcome confusion and deception. All right, this is when we speak up. If we're not clear with something, if something isn't clear to us, we got to say it. No more pretending things are okay. No more. No more. We need clarity. Can you elaborate on that? Can you explain that? I'm not quite understanding what you're saying. Use those words and don't feel bad or guilty or less than, because more times than not, the person is purposely being cryptic because they don't want you to catch on that they are being shady, or that they don't know what they're really talking about, or that they don't want something to change because it benefited them, even though they know how it's hindering your success. Okay? And this is the time where the deception ends. Okay? People are getting called out, and we are asking for clarity. And we are asking for illumination. Okay, so I'm scrolling down here. Okay, so I'm right with Brazil. So visibility. It states here, new moon solar eclipse will be visible from Chile and Argentina, and partially you'll see it in Bolivia, Brazil, Ecuador, Paraguay, Peru, and Uruguay. So basically, if you're in South America, you're lucky. And it has here a chart. If you're in South areas of South Africa, you're lucky. You'll see it. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So how are you feeling? How are you feeling? What's this energy that you're feeling during this new moon time? Well, you may feel like a sense of freshness, a sense of energy, a revving up of sorts, a feeling like, you got to get something done, a feeling like you need to be more vocal. It's that fresh energy that's coming out, that new beginning, that new opportunity. Because when you think about it, we're about to enter winter officially, right? The 21st. That'll be the darkest day of the year. Also a celebration of light coming in, which falls right aligned with this whole eclipse. Like we don't see the sun, because of that moon stepping in. And then also, it's the end of the year. So there's nothing but newness coming. A new year, a new us. There is some energy that definitely gets left in the previous year. And I'm not just talking about, the whole, even though a lot of gyms are closed, I'm going to hit the gym in January. I'm going to set resolutions. This is not going to be the year for that. This is going to be the year of, I just want to make it. Okay. And I understand people are at different levels, right, during this pandemic, but everyone got impacted in some way, shape, or form. So that is such as life, right? If you want to look at it from the spiritual perspective, we're all one, but we're having different experiences. Okay. So there's no choice but to understand that there are new beginnings happening. Now, if we want to embrace it and get on that wave, then that's for our betterment. If we don't make the effort to understand the newness that needs to be in our life and the newness that is coming, then that's when we're stopping, taking one step forward, two steps back, because we're not understanding the flow. We're not understanding our needs and wants, and we're definitely not communicating it. This is why we have to focus on the energies that are around us, because they impact us, and we have to listen to ourselves. That little voice that's telling us, you should have said this, speak up, tell them how you feel. Tell them how you feel. That thing you feel in your chest, that thing you feeling in your gut, your stomach, when your throat's doing that funny thing because you want to speak up, you're mad, you're angry, but you can't talk. You got that like knot in your throat. Listen to your body. Listen to your body. And I even tell you something, during some full moons, some new moons, not so much in between, not so much the waxing and the waning, but in particular, those full cycles when it's new or full moon. Sometimes I feel like doing absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. There have been times where I spent the whole weekend just watching, Netflix is binge watching, and I'll order some food and I'll still wash and brush my teeth, guys. That, okay. So that is like my baseline. That's my standard. I'll still wash. Okay. But like I'll put on, like I have house clothes. I have clothes that are just for the house. They don't see the light of day. So I have like my house clothes. And sometimes I just think like, dang, I was so unproductive this weekend. And this is before I understood how I get impacted by the moon phases. Okay. And then once I learned that, I started better preparing myself for the phases. Right. So I wouldn't beat myself up, like, oh my God, like you did absolutely nothing. All you did was, you just ordered food and, you just binge watched the show. You should have done something. Like, what? Sometimes we need that. That is also productivity, because we're giving ourselves that space to recharge. That's all it is. Think about it. When we actually put our phone on a charger and walk away from it, right? Not using our phone while it's on a charger. What happens? It charges faster because we are leaving it alone. Right? When we allow ourselves to be left alone. And hey, look, you can watch the show with your kids, with your significant other. I'm just saying, far as not doing the things that you would normally do that you would consider productive. Let this be your productivity. This is your time to recharge. This is your time to just unplug from the world, plug into yourself, and not judge yourself. Okay, so if this solar eclipse is you lighting candles, writing to yourself, getting, snuggled up in your favorite blanket and watching some movies that nurture your soul, whether it's the love comedy, whether it's mystery, whether it's fantasy, so be it. Okay. And then you could focus on, you know what? I haven't been speaking up for myself lately, but it may be that movie that you're watching on Hulu, Netflix, Peacock, Disney Plus, right? Amazon Prime. It may be a movie you watch that triggers something in you that's like, you know what? I identify with that character. You know what? I'm going to take a page out that character's book, even though that character is not real, but that character has been given real emotions. That's why we identify with so many characters, right? And I'll just give you one other example. It's sort of like Practical Magic, one of my favorite movies. And I'm not a big fan of movies that have like love in them and stuff like that because they tend to be cheesy to the point that I can't take it. But this movie and what's her name? Sally, how she just, even though she creates the guy that doesn't exist because she doesn't want to fall in love and all that, but I identify with her in certain ways because of, just the aspect of how she looked at certain things, but how she also got over it. And she met the guy and she accepted the guy, and how she just wanted to protect her children. But, she also trying to like really just accept all her witchy powers and things like that. So again, that character itself isn't real, but that character has been given real qualities that we identify with. And I'm like, you know what, Sally? I actually want a guy with two different eye colors. I think that's awesome. But also, it's just like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to accept all my powers. I'm going to embrace them more. And you know what? Maybe I'll go find a little town to go live in, have a little store. But all I'm saying is, movies like that, they bring something out of us. And even Untitled, Johnny Depp's in there, and the woman and her child, they travel every time the wind blows, but she's bringing goodness to each town she comes to. And it's like, you know what? That's what I want. I want to bring goodness everywhere, and it's not through chocolate, but, it's through the spiritual stuff. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying. During the solar eclipse, spend the time how you see fit. Unplug from the world, plug into yourself, and then you can spend time to think about where you need to, work on your communication style. Tap into that energy of Mars, and also again going back to the blog, the magical days of the week. I talk about the energy of Mars. It's associated with Tuesday, so the planet of Mars is associated with Tuesday. So go to blog.tiamariejohnson.com. In the search box, just type in Tuesday, and I'll talk briefly about Mars. And like I said, the correspondences with Mars, and then give you a better idea with that. All right. Now, let's go back to the solar eclipse. All right. So here are some of the energies too. The strong, abundant energy flowing around the eclipse may also bring some gifts and rewards our way. This would be extra amplified by Saturn, who a few days later on December 17th will leave Capricorn, and where it will be for the last 2.5 years for the sign of Aquarius. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. Back to the, I thought we were already in the age of Aquarius. I don't completely understand it. I'm still doing research on that. Please dive into that. Do some of your independent research. But here we are with Saturn. Saturn is one of my favorite planets. I was born on a Saturday, but it's a rough planet. It is a tough love. You're going to learn your lesson planet. And I like learning. So the thing is, Saturn also it does like 2-year cycles. Okay. Which makes sense. Considering like, I remember some of the hardest years lasted 2 years for me. So again, I didn't look to see what planet it was in because I didn't know it back then. But looking back, I went on a 2-year healing journey after the death of my grandparents, which really triggered me to understand my spirituality. Because as a kid, I had visions. I had premonition dreams. I got feelings. I knew things, but I didn't really know like the names of them at the time. But once they passed, that's when I decided to dive into understanding what was going on. And I've talked about it in a previous episode. I'll probably talk about it again for those who are new to the podcast. But long story short, I ended up learning the names to what I was experiencing as a kid. And that's what really got me to dive into spirituality, because I was already experiencing this. And I found something that gave a name to what I was already experiencing. And when I say vision, I'm not just talking about third eye. I mean, with my own 2-eye visions. So it was a 2-year healing journey. So I was, I guess, in my Saturn phase. And if I were to do a chart, or someone were to do a chart for me, Saturn will probably show up. So Saturn is the tough teacher, but it's the teacher that you end up appreciating the most, because you come out with thicker skin. You come out learning so much. You just come out like like a scholar of sorts, just because of all the things you experience. But it's not an easy experience, but it makes you tougher for yourself, for your life, and to be that person for other people, right? We end up learning so much, and it's for our benefit, because, life is not rose colored sky and, everything's just sweet and dandy. And I wish it was, sweeter and things like that, but things happen. Life happens. People get hurt and die. And, so anyway, Saturn has arrived in the chat. And as it states here, this will be extra amplified by Saturn, who a few days later will leave Capricorn. Now, I don't know much about Capricorn, so we're not even going to dive into that. But just know that there are going to be a little bit of hard lessons. Okay. So it says Saturn leaves one zodiac for another. Okay. I'm just scrolling down here. All right. So the last part I want to talk about here before I talk about some of the things we can do. We can easily get busy and caught up with trying to do all this work for the solar eclipse. But the thing we need to focus on is communication and new beginnings. Okay, that's a reoccurring theme here. And now it states the universe is always offering things to us, but we have to be in an open state to notice and receive these offerings too. So the fastest way to do this is to shift our mindset. And the easiest way is to focus on abundance, appreciation, and gratitude. So, and again, communication. The universe is always offering things to us, but are we communicating enough and on that frequency to acknowledge? How many times have we passed up an opportunity? Someone tried to connect with us and we just don't realize it, So start taking notice. Things like numbers. Like I said, I just saw 333, and now I'm looking at my TV again. It has 30 degrees. So now we got a 3 and a 0. 0 has to do with spirit, as a sign like Omega, and then 3 again with the Ascendant Masters. So what I'm saying here is, are you seeing feathers? Are you seeing dimes? I see quarters, So what are you seeing? Are you seeing a cloud formation? What are your dreams telling you? Take notice of these things. And these things are subtle. Only one time have I seen a billboard sign that was a sign. I mean, big. The numbers were 444. I mean, it was huge. Okay. Most of the time it's a whisper. It's casual. It's, almost unnoticeable. Okay. Let's increase that communication with spirit. Now, how can we do that? So now we're starting to step into what we can do. Actually, you know what? Before I step into that, let's just finish this part up. All right. So when we shift out of complaining and wishing for things to be different, that limited thinking, like, oh, why is it like this? Why can't I do that? And open instead to abundance, that's when we're going to have this shift. Okay. So we got to be mindful of what we're saying, because that's what we are communicating to the universe. And we definitely don't want to do that during this eclipse, because remember, this is the newness. This is us getting rid of the last bit of this residual energy. We don't want to bring that into the new year. And if I remember correctly, these eclipses, that energy lasts for about a year. I read in one of the websites that the next like full-on solar eclipse is next year, this time. So let's see here. The Sagittarius solar eclipse is also connected to the eclipses we experienced back in June. So that was the partial eclipse. In fact, the solar eclipse is directly linked to the lunar eclipse that we had on June 5th. Now, of course, there are different lunar eclipses, but the most recent one we had was the penumbral, which meant that the sun, the moon, and the earth were all aligned. Okay. And I talked about that, like I said, in the previous episodes. You can go back and listen to that. Okay. So we focus on what we can release during that June lunar eclipse. And then Mercury is the messenger of the gods. Okay. And again, he's about communication and commerce. Okay. And let me see, there's one other point I saw here on this website. Okay. So what I'm about to say ties into what I said earlier. When I said, what are you blocking emotionally that you can't see, right? Because the moon, the new moon, as opposed to the full moon, the new moon, dark moon, is now fully in front of the sun. So we're not getting that light, that energy. And it states here, the Sagittarius solar eclipse beckons us to rise up and observe the many blessings that have been hidden in the shadows. As we bring our blessings into the light, it also shines a spotlight on our relationship with the universe. This is what I was just talking about. What is the relationship? What are you communicating? Right? What are you saying? Even if you're talking to yourself. Imagine this. Let's say your friend is the universe, right? Let's say your friend, Jen, right? She's the universe. And, you pretty much know that she's a little special. She got like some gifts, things just work in her favor, right? And you're talking to her, you're like, man, I don't know why this is happening to me. It's just, I just feel like, I feel like I can't do anything. I just feel like, I just, it wasn't meant for me. I just like, I'm so frustrated. I can't do this. Like, I gained so much weight. I don't even feel right. Like, you just start injecting all this doubt, all this energy, what you can't do, things like, man, I don't even look in the mirror anymore. I don't even want to look at myself. I just been so frustrated lately. So she's thinking, oh, she must want more frustration, because that's all she talked about. Imagine you had a friend and all you talked about every time you saw them was what you're frustrated about, what you don't like, what you don't do. Don't. Frustration, frustration, frustration. As opposed to, yeah, I gained some weight during this pandemic. It's crazy, but, what else am I going to do, right? But, I'm going to drink more water. I'm going to go for more walks. Yeah, I do need some downtime, because I need to get out my head a little bit, being cooped up in the house. But I'm going to go walk to the park. It's this cute little cafe by me. There's curbside pickup. So I'm just going to, go there, give them some business. I have some coffee at home, but, I could spare $1 or $2 and, support them. And then this weekend, I'll probably, clean my house up a little bit, or at least clean the basement a little bit, donate some clothes I don't wear anymore. And, I'm gonna buy some like spinach maybe, or something like that. I need to eat a little bit better. I've been, doing a little bit too much. Now, how does that sound? You just stated some of the positive things you want to do. You just show that basically you're grateful for $2 you had, because you're going to now give your $2 to someone else. You just said that, you know what? yeah, I'm gonna do something positive, like go for walks. I'm gonna focus a little bit on my health. I'm gonna clean my basement. You're making room, and you're gonna donate. So now you're telling the universe, your friend Jen, that you know what, I got so much stuff, I don't even need this anymore. I'm gonna give it to someone who needs it. She's gonna be like, oh man, this is great. So, she's focusing on, you know what? Don't worry about it. I got lunch covered today. I'm going to, and it's like, oh my God, Jen paid for my lunch. Yeah, because now you're paying it for someone else because you're supporting a small business and you're saying how you're going to take care of your health. So she's like, you know what? Don't worry about it. I got you covered. Matter of fact, I got you covered tomorrow. I'm going to put you on to this little restaurant. They sell healthy food and they're doing like, $5, delivery chart, whatever. So careful of your thoughts because people are going to send stuff your way, right? Just like if you said, you know what, I'm ready for a relationship, and your friend goes, well, what type of guy are you interested in? And your friend happened to see that guy, they're going to what? Tell you, hey, this guy, that happened to me a couple of years ago. My friend told me, hey, this guy looks like this and that. You guys would make a good couple. Go out, at least go on a date with him. Because I put it out there in the universe. So, but if I was saying, oh, all men are dogs and dirty and she'll say, oh, well, she's not interested in dating. So I'm not going to send anything her way. That's how it works. Now, yes, you do have to do your personal growth work. Okay. I'm not saying every scenario is going to just work just like that, but it does happen like that when you do the work. Some things happen faster than others. Yes. But I'm putting that out there. So when you look at this, the many blessings that have been hidden in the shadows, what were some of the blessings of that conversation? You have a house, you have a basement, you have $2 to spare, you have extra clothes to spare, you have an able body to walk, right? You have a place to go, the park, you are supporting a small business, you're with a friend. Some people don't even have a friend to talk to. Like that's real. So look at all the blessings you have right there. You're healthy. And you're a little overweight. Okay, it's not the end of the world, but you're alive. You're walking. You're breathing on your own. Look at all the blessings just yesterday. Okay, now this recording is going to come out a week from today. But just yesterday, when I was in the shower, man, I said so much I was grateful for. It didn't make any sense. I actually started getting teary eyed because I was just going down the list, man. I even said I was thankful for the person who invented the shower. Like I was just going on and on and on. I said, I'm thankful for, the shower. I'm thankful for the heat. I'm thankful for someone who invented a way to get the heat to the shower so I can have hot water. I'm thankful that it's all going down the drain. I'm thankful that I can play my music while I'm washing. I'm thankful that I got this body wash. I'm thankful that I got this exfoliating cream. I'm thankful that I got 2 pairs of flip-flops because I like to change the flip-flops when I get out the bath, the shower. I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my toothpaste. Like I was just going on and on and on and on and on. I'm thankful that I have clothes to change into, different house clothes that I wear. I'm thankful that I got that. Because I thought about some of my family members, back in the 60s, 50s, when they were kids growing up with 40s. My grandmother was born 1937. Back then you had like one outfit, maybe two outfits. In the 40s, 50s, you cleaned it and then you let it dry. You wear it the next day. In the 1940s and 50s, yeah. So, oh yeah, I'm thankful that I got clothes I just wear in the house. And not even my street clothes, just clothes I wear in the house. I'm thankful for that. Oh yeah. I'm thankful for technology. I'm thankful for, the money I have in my account. I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I was just like the most things that you might think random or things that we just tend to overlook because we just grew up with it. Like toothpaste was always there for us, but once upon a time, toothpaste was not there. Once upon a time, a hot shower was not there. Once upon a time, you couldn't flush your toilet in your own home. There were outhouses. I would just say, I'm thankful for my friends. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful, 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 thankful. Gratitude off the charts. This is the time to do that. Even more so with this energy. Imagine it like a fast track, especially anyone who played games. When you're in like a Mario go-kart or any racing game, and you're on that like little green part where you can use it as a booster to get past people. Imagine that. Imagine you're using gratitude, especially during this time, and boom, you're on that green track that just make you soar. And now you're soaring past so many other obstacles and things and even people, because you're so grateful. You're communicating this to the universe. You're capitalizing on that communication. And you're going to get to your goals even faster. That's great. And it sounds super easy because it is. Now, once you're saying what you're grateful for, you got to be ready to continue to live that and do it every day. Right? You can't say that you're grateful for something, then you're a mean person. And, you got to live it. Tell people and talk about it. I'm not saying you got to tell people everything you're grateful for, but tell people that you appreciate them. Tell people that, of course, people who you are appreciative of. Some people, they don't treat you quite nicely, but you get what I'm saying. So anyway, this is the time to do that. And so with that, we're diving into things that you want to do. Okay. So things that you want to do is definitely express gratitude. You're going to want to embrace this next season of your life. Okay, because the Sagittarius energy, like I said, is fire energy. This is the brightest energy that we're going to be experiencing all year. And this is the time to stay open to that light. So what are you going to, what are the things you can do, and how are you feeling? As I was saying a little bit earlier, you're going to feel that kind of like antsy feeling. Everyone's going to have a slightly different experience. There are going to be groups of people who like, yeah, I feel antsy. We feel antsy over here. We feel like, our anxieties, I can't talk. Anxiety is through the roof. Yeah, we're a little bit on edge. Or, oh, I'm just feeling really sleepy right now. I just need to sleep. I'm not feeling motivated right now. I just need to, okay, so acknowledge your feeling, right? And some people may feel a little bit aggressive because the Mars energy is there. You might feel revved up to go do something, right? Acknowledge your feelings. And here are some of the things you can do. So you might want to get a pen, pad, or write down the notes section on your phone. Either way, you can always hit pause and come back. So some of the things you want to do. What are the things that can take the edge off? What do you normally do to take the edge off? Now, this would be a great time for sex magic, but again, if you want to do spell work, just be conscious of the energy that is happening during this eclipse. All right. You're taking the edge off can be dancing. You're taking the edge off can be baking. You taking the edge off can be going for walks in nature. Maybe you have a lake by you and you're by the lake with your dog. For me, I love watching dog videos. I spend hours watching dog videos. I have so many dog videos saved on my Instagram. It's ridiculous. And I love it and it helps. So one is, what do you do to take the edge off? Okay. Two is, what do you do to get something like out of your system? For example, writing, singing. This is a great time to communicate your thoughts and feelings with someone, even your best friend. You're like, hey, you know what? I hit my point, man. I mean, like, I've been in the house for like, I don't know, what month are we at now? The 9th, 10th month. Some people they're in certain cities are on lockdown again. Call up someone who you trust, who you be vulnerable with, communicate that with them. Man, times are crazy. I just feel like I'm at my wits and I am just mentally exhausted. And that person will hold space for you and let you get all that out your system, and you're going to feel better. And this isn't about being like an emotional, like dumpster, like, oh, let me just dump no, it's about you being vocal about how you feel. Think about all the times you were not allowed to just say how you felt at the time because you had to hold your tongue. Isn't that what especially women are told? hold your tongue. You don't want to offend anybody. Screw that. Listen, I don't feel like it. I'm not up for it. I'm not available. I need to reschedule. It's not a good day. Right? Push back. And then you get on the phone with your best friend or your spouse, someone who you can be vulnerable with. Like, look, man, it's been rough. And he or she may say, yeah, no, I totally get it. Yeah. Uh-huh. And they're going to hold that space for you. Okay. And next is, how can you unplug from the world and plug into yourself? What does that look like? It could be exercising. It's whatever form of meditation works for you. Some people's form of meditation is washing the dishes, driving, exercising, dancing. Why? Because all meditation really is the shifting of brain waves. Okay? It's you elevating yourself. How many times have you been elevated dancing? When I was in Africa, we went to a group I was with. We went to a dance company and we played the drums. When I tell you I was in a zone and we were outside, it was hot. We took our shoes off, so we were dancing outside. My feet were touching the ground, and I'm doing the beat of the rhythm drum. And the guy, he owned the facility. He was teaching us how to hit the drum, the rhythm in the motherland with my feet on the ground. And then we danced. That was a form of meditation. I was just so elevated. It was so great. And then I was wearing loose clothing because it's hot. So, you're wearing like loose fabric. It was so great. It was so great. I would love to do that again. Right? It was like the perfect combination. Outside, hot weather, feet touching the ground, the drumming and the rhythm. And it was amazing. And then what we were saying was like something, I love you, something like that. So then, like, we're saying positive stuff. So you can also take this time to do self-care. You can't go wrong with a bubble bath or, like a bath, like a spiritual bath, put the little flowers in there, have your glass of wine or champagne. I don't know if you read a book in the tub or you just close your eyes a little bit. Don't sink and fall in the tub and go to sleep. Okay. Just like prop yourself up. Okay. Maybe you just want to have dinner. Maybe you haven't cooked dinner with your spouse in a while. And you're just like, hey, honey, you know what? These last couple of months been crazy. Let's carve out some time for ourselves this weekend. Let's cook together. Let's go for a walk together. Like just us. Like let's just do something. Okay. And those are some of the things you do. Now, could you do a spell? Could you do some magic? Of course you can. Just understand this eclipse as much as you can. Okay. And if it's raining by you and you want to collect the rainwater, understand that this is a solar new moon eclipse. And, the new moon is starting off to bring in something new. Right. This is a time of reflecting inward. And you got that solar energy, but it's being blocked. You don't really see it. Right. So you can feel some of it because you'll see like the outer skirts of the sun, but really the moon's in front of it. So, I mean, you could collect that rain, but know that some things are going to be in the shadows. So it's like, do you want to collect that? It depends on what you want to do. And then there's that shadow part, right? This is with any new moon. It's a great time to look at what parts of yourself are you not addressing? What parts of yourself are you suppressing? What parts of yourself need to come out? What do you need to do? And I put this out there. Sometimes there are certain things that cannot come out right away because of safety purposes, where some people can't have an aspect of them be known to the public or to certain people because of, again, safety concern. I totally get that. So I don't want you to feel like you have to, once you address a shadow part of yourself, that you had to make this announcement at the cost of you getting hurt, kicked out the house, or something like that. So it just has to be illuminated to you. Okay, so if you have something that's been in the shadows for a while, you have to acknowledge that. Okay, and you have to entertain it in a way where you learn more about it. So, you learn more about that community, the information behind it, whatever it is, to yourself. And then you can gradually come out if you can. Like maybe you move out the house and then you can say, well, here's me, I'm a witch or whatever, but please don't feel the need to make an announcement to people when it is possibly at the risk of you getting harmed. Okay. I don't want that to happen to you. That's what I had for you. That was a lot of information. And I feel like that this is even more and almost more confusing than the lunar eclipse. But yeah, this is big communication energy, big new wave energy, big time to look at your shadow self, big time to communicate to the universe, right? And make sure you are doing it right, meaning don't focus on the don't focus on, what you don't have, focus on what you want to attract. I mean, you can acknowledge, right? You can acknowledge like, oh, I don't have X amount of money in my bank account, or my house situation isn't what I wanted to be, or my life isn't what I wanted to be. Acknowledge that. And then acknowledge that there's room for growth, that things can change because they can. Even if it takes a little while, it can happen. So you want to focus on all the things you got going on right now. Like, I can breathe on my own. I have the ability to change. I have a roof over my head. My utilities are on. I ate today. I'm thankful for technology. I'm thankful for this. There are so many other things to be thankful for that becomes your vibe, and you get in that vortex and opportunities come to you, or you get a thought to do something. It's crazy how it works, but it's true. Okay. And drink a lot of water. That's what I have for you for this telescope. Again, crazy, crazy energy. And there's even more energy to dive into. So please do your independent research. This is a crazy start point for you. But again, we're wrapping up the year with this. We got a full moon on the 30th. Whew. I'll talk about that too, but we got to get past this eclipse and this energy. So I'm rooting for you. I'm sending you all the blessings in the world. Remember to unplug from the world and plug into yourself. Be kind to yourself, and I will see you in the next episode. Okay, also, when I said that, I thought about Dr. Dre next episode, but I cracked myself up. But seriously, I'll see you in the next episode. As always, Spiritual Trailblazer, thank you for tuning in. Do make sure to stop by and visit me at tiamariejohnson.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Last but not least, be kind to yourself. I'm rooting for you, and I'm sending you so many blessings. Until next time.